I have a confession to make.
Oh,
Last week, I was at this dinner party, nothing fancy, just friends. And I found myself in this incredibly awkward conversation.
okay.
And it wasn't because I was nervous or shy or anything, but I just felt wrong. I was actually listening to myself speak, and I sounded like I was reading a press release.
Uh-huh.
I realized I was suffering from something I'm now calling the robot paradox.
The robot paradox. That sounds like a sci-fi thriller.
It honestly felt like one. So here's the paradox. You spend years, maybe your whole life, learning a language, or even just trying to get better at your own language for public speaking.
Right.
You memorize all the grammar tables, you nail the vocabulary lists, you conjugate verbs with surgical precision, you walk into a room, you open your mouth, and you speak in these full, complete, grammatically perfect sentences. And somehow, you sound weird. You sound stiff. You sound like a walking, talking textbook with a glitch in its software.
Yes. That is the classic learner's dilemma. And honestly, it happens to native speakers too when they get too inside their own heads.
It's so frustrating.
You've done everything right according to the rules you learned in a classroom, but the result feels completely wrong in a living room. It feels artificial.
Totally. I actually asked someone, do you intend to consume the remainder of that pizza? I actually said that.
You did not.
I did. And they just looked at me like I was an alien wearing a human suit. So that is what we are unpacking today.
We're glad you are.
We're doing a deep dive into this really fascinating breakdown of 25 things that make you sound effortless in English conversations. But here's the thing. I don't just want a list. I want to understand why my correct English sounded so bad.
Right.
And how to shift from being just correct to being effortless.
That word effortless is really the North Star here, isn't it? We aren't talking about getting a higher score on some standardized test.
Yeah.
We are looking at the subconscious habits that native speakers have, these micro behaviors they perform without even thinking, that signal to everyone else, hey, I belong in this conversation. I'm relaxed. I'm human.
So our mission today is to deconstruct these habits. We're going to tear down that robot programming and figure out how to install the human update.
A software update for your speaking skills.
Oh, yeah.
Like it.
And just to be super clear, because I know we have listeners from all walks of life, are we telling people to speak like this in, say, a board meeting?
That is a crucial distinction to make right up front. The source material is very clear that we are analyzing casual English.
Okay.
This is the English you use in, 90% of your life.
Yeah.
Chatting with friends, buying coffee, hanging out in the break room before the big meeting starts.
Right. So if you're defending a PhD thesis or giving a formal speech to the UN, maybe stick to the formal stuff.
Please.
Please do not walk up to a world leader and use the slang we're about to discuss. But for the rest of life, we need to get casual.
So should we start with the mechanics of it all?
Let's do it. Part 1 is the mechanics of efficiency.
This is a great place to start because it really deals with how native speakers physically shorten the language.
Physically shorten it.
Yeah. There's this huge misconception that using contractions or slurring words together is lazy or bad English.
Right.
I hear this all the time from strict grammarians.
Me too.
But from a linguistic perspective, it's actually the opposite. It's the principle of economy.
Economy, like saving money.
Saving energy. The whole goal of communication is to get an idea across as efficiently as you can without losing the meaning.
Okay.
If I can make a sound with 2 muscle movements instead of 4, my brain and my mouth will naturally choose the path of least resistance.
So it's not laziness, it's efficiency. I like that. It makes me feel a lot better about my slouching.
Think of it as conversational aerodynamics. And the first rule of aerodynamics here, according to the source, is the always contract rule. They're pretty adamant about this.
Always.
In a casual setting, they say you almost must use contractions.
Must is a strong word. What happens if I don't?
Well, let's run a simulation. If I ask you what you're doing this weekend, and you say, I am going to the store,
Right.
what does that signal to me?
I am going to the store. It sounds declarative, like I'm making some official announcement.
Right.
Or maybe like I'm angry, I'm going to the store, and you can't stop me.
Exactly. The full form, I am, it creates distance. It adds this weight where no weight is needed. But I'm going to the store is immediate. It pulls me in. It says, we're close enough that I don't need to be formal.
It really creates that robot effect I was talking about. If I say, I do not know what we are doing, I sound like a sci-fi android trying to blend in.
Greetings, fellow humans.
I do not know the plan, but I don't know what we're doing. It just sounds human.
Precisely. And the essentials here are the ones you learned in grade school but might be afraid to use, where there won't, can't.
Right.
If you are pronouncing every single syllable in cannot or will not, you are actively putting up a barrier. You're signaling formality.
Okay, contractions I can handle. I think I'm on board with that. But this next part, this is where I get nervous.
The big three.
The big three, we're talking about gonna, wanna, and gotta. Now, I can literally hear my third grade teacher, Mrs. Gable, screaming from the grave. She used to say, gonna is not a word.
And Mrs. Gable was absolutely right in the context of writing formal prose.
Okay.
But in spoken English, she was fighting a losing battle against physics.
Physics? How is this physics?
It is. Okay, let's look at going to. To say going to, your tongue has to start at the back of your mouth for the hard g, then it moves to the nasal ang, and then it has to jump all the way to the front of your teeth for the T.
Gone to.
There's a lot of gymnastics for a fraction of a second.
I'm trying it now. Going to. Yeah, my tongue is doing a cha-cha slide in there.
Now, gonna.
Gonna.
Where's your tongue?
It barely moves. It just sort of hangs out in the middle.
Exactly. Linguistically, this is called assimilation. The sounds blend together to minimize muscle effort. It isn't that people are too lazy or stupid to say going to.
Right.
It's that the human body naturally optimizes for speed. Gonna, wanna, which is from want to, and gotta from have to, are just the result of centuries of speakers smoothing out the rough edges.
So when I say I'm going to go, I'm not being uneducated. I'm being ergonomic.
You're being an efficient biological machine, and notice the rhythm shift. I'm going to go is very staccato.
Staccato, da-da.
I'm going to go flows. It has a heartbeat.
So if I'm in a meeting with my boss and I say, I'm going to finish that report, am I safe? Or is Mrs. Gable going to haunt me?
I think in 2024, you are absolutely safe. In fact, if you said to your boss, I am going to finish that report, you might even sound a little passive-aggressive.
Really?
Yeah, a little bit. Again, it just shows you're ready to work, you're in the flow.
Okay, I'm sold. I'm going to use it. See? I did it. Now, what about pronouns? The source mentions softening the pronouns, specifically changing you to ya.
This is a subtle one, but it's powerful. It usually happens in unstressed positions in a sentence.
Ah, okay.
Think about greetings. How are you? Sounds perfectly fine. It's polite.
Yeah.
But how are you? Changes the dynamic instantly.
How are you? It feels lighter. It feels like the stakes are lower.
Exactly. It just signals friendliness, or take farewells, see ya versus see ya, see you. Could almost be a threat depending on your tone.
True.
See ya, it's just breezy. And then think about questions like, what you doing?
Whatcha? That's not even a word. That's a sound effect. Whatcha?
It's extreme reduction. What are you? Becomes whatcha. It signals that the question isn't an interrogation, it's just a casual check-in.
Speaking of reductions, we have to talk about the G drop. Dropping the G at the end of leading words, walkin', talkin', thinkin'. This one feels really specific to me. Like, does everyone actually do this?
Most native speakers do it when they're relaxed. It really shifts the vibe of the speaker.
It feels like the difference between wearing a suit and wearing sweatpants.
That is a perfect analogy. If you say, I am walking to the park, you are wearing the suit. You are enunciating every sound.
Right.
If you say, I'm walking to the park, you're in sweatpants.
Right.
You're just
Well,
living.
there's a danger zone here. Right.
Yeah, I talked about the job interview.
Right. This is what we call code switching. If you are in a high-stakes environment where precision signals competence, you keep the G. I am focusing G on the marketing strategy. You want that crispness. But at the bar afterward, I'm thinking about ordering a burger. If you keep that hard G at the bar, you sound like you're still on the clock.
I love that. So dropping the G is basically the linguistic equivalent of undoing your top button.
Exactly.
Okay, one last tip for this mechanics section. The ultimate reduction. The source calls this one the efficiency peak. The word is dunno.
Ah, yes. Dunno. We're taking 3, technically 4, distinct words, I do not know, and compressing them into 2 syllables, sometimes even just one grunt. Dunno. My dad used to hate this so much. He'd ask where the remote was, and I'd just go, no. He said it sounded lazy.
Well, there is that debate again, lazy versus efficient.
Yeah.
But think about the alternative. If someone asks, hey, where's the remote? And you turn to them, make full eye contact, and articulate, I do not know, you have just turned a micro-interaction into a full-blown scene.
Right.
You've wasted everyone's time.
It sounds like I'm under oath. I do not know.
Then do know allows you to answer quickly and keep the conversation moving forward. It basically says, I don't have the answer, let's move on immediately. It's a functional tool, not a sign of poor intelligence. It's a valid sentence in the casual dialect.
So we've covered speeding things up, compressing, reducing, sliding. But part 2 of this deep dive flips the script completely. It's about the art of buying time. Because sometimes you don't want to go fast.
This is so critical. A lot of learners, and again, nervous native speakers, feel this immense pressure to speak instantly. They think fluency means zero silence.
Yeah.
They think if they stop talking, they're failing. But real conversation is full of pauses. The key is how you fill that time.
We are reframing what we think of as bad habits here. Tip number 6 is using, again, public speaking coaches tell us to eliminate these. They have those little clickers to count how many times we say, are you telling me I should be saying,
In a conversation, yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
And our cognitive traffic signals, they tell the listener, I am not done talking. I am thinking. Please do not interrupt me yet.
Oh, that's so interesting. It's a defense mechanism.
It is. If you just stay silent while you search for a word, the other person will assume you're finished and they'll start talking. Holds the floor. It puts a little reserve sign on the airwaves.
So it's better to say, than to just stare blankly into space.
Absolutely. The blank stare is confusing.
Yeah.
Is communication. It says, loading, please wait.
Okay, now we have to tackle the big one. The most controversial word in the English language.
Oh, I know which one.
Like,
The word everyone loves to hate.
I find myself using it constantly and then I hate myself for it. But the source says it's actually doing some really heavy lifting.
It is doing incredibly complex grammatical work. It is not just a filler. The source identifies 3 distinct uses that have nothing to do with, being a valley girl.
Okay, let's break them down so I can justify my habit.
Yeah.
First, there's approximation.
Right. If you say, there were 20 people at the party, you are stating a hard fact. If it turns out there were 19 or 21, you are technically lying.
Huh.
But if you say there were like 20 people, you are signaling an estimate. You are protecting yourself from being inaccurate.
That's useful. Then there's giving examples. I enjoy outdoor activities, like hiking. That's standard.
That's the one everyone agrees on,
Yeah.
standard usage. But the third one is the game changer. It's what linguists call the quotative like.
The quotative like, that sounds very fancy.
It's a specific grammatical function. It replaces the word said, but with a twist. So if I say, she said, I am not going, I am reporting her exact speech.
A direct quote.
But if I say, she was like, no way,
Yeah.
I am doing something totally different.
You're acting it out.
Exactly. Like, allows you to convey the attitude, the tone, or just the gist of what someone said, rather than a verbatim transcript. It invites you to perform the scene.
So if I say, my boss was like, I need this now, I can use a funny voice, I can make a face.
And it's grammatically understood that you are reenacting the vibe of that moment.
Oh.
It adds drama and flavor. It is an essential storytelling tool in modern English.
Wow.
If you strip like out of your vocabulary, you lose that ability to dramatize.
Okay, I feel completely validated. I'm keeping like, what about the next one? You know. As in the Italian place, you know.
This is a checking mechanism. It's a little hook you throw out to the listener to see if they're with you.
Right.
You're inviting them to nod and say, yeah, I know the one. It creates this micro connection. It turns what could be a monologue into a dialogue.
And what about, I use this all the time when I stick my foot in my mouth.
It is the ultimate self-correction tool. You say something, and you realize in real time that it came out wrong. It was good. It wasn't amazing, but it was okay.
It's like a backspace key for your mouth.
Yes. And it shows you're thinking out loud and refining your opinion. It actually makes you sound more honest because you're showing the messy process of finding the right words.
And finally for this section, the word so.
The bridge word, so, is a signpost. It tells the listener where the conversation is going. If you start a sentence with so, with a high pitch, you are launching a new topic. So, I saw this movie the other day.
And if I say so with a lower trailing pitch?
Are you sure? Trailing off usually means you're reaching a conclusion.
Yeah.
So yeah, basically means I'm done with my thought now. It just helps manage the flow.
It's so funny how these tiny words, which we usually ignore or actively try to delete from our speech, are actually the glue holding the whole conversation together.
They are the syntax of social interaction. Without them, speech feels disjointed and, well, robotic.
Speaking of interaction, let's move to part 3, the feedback loop. Because conversation isn't a monologue, even though I sometimes treat it like one.
This is a huge blind spot for so many learners. They focus so much on speaking that they forget how to listen. But in English, listening isn't a passive activity. You have to be a loud listener.
Loud listening. I like that, because if I'm just sitting there nodding silently, what does that look like to you?
It looks like our video call just froze.
Mhm.
Or worse, it looks like you are silently judging me.
Oh.
In many English-speaking cultures, silence is interpreted as disinterest or confusion. You need to provide a soundtrack to my story.
That brings us to back channeling, the ahas and of the world.
Okay, let's role play this. I'll tell you a really boring story. You give me zero back channeling, just silent.
Okay, I'm a stone face. Go.
So, yesterday, I went to the post office to mail a package, and the line was incredibly long. And then I realized I forgot my wallet in the car. And so I didn't know if I should leave the line or just wait there and hope it magically appeared.
See, I'm panicking. I feel like you hate me in my boring story. I want to stop talking.
That felt awful. I felt like I was staring you down.
Oh!
Okay, let's do it again with back channeling.
So yesterday I went to the post office, and the line was just incredibly long.
Oh, the worst.
And I realized I forgot my wallet in the car.
Oh, no.
Classic.
Completely different energy, right?
Yeah.
Your little noises are the gas in my engine. They signal, I am with you. Keep going. It is such a low-effort way to be a great conversationalist.
You barely have to use actual words. You just have to make encouraging noises.
Exactly. And that leads directly to emotional signaling. Like the word
Oh.
is just 2 letters, but the source says it can mean a dozen different things depending on your pitch.
This is where you have to become a little bit of an actor. A high-pitched oh signals surprise. Oh. Really?
Right.
A dropping pitch. Oh. Signals disappointment. Oh. That's too bad. If you use the wrong tone, you send the completely wrong message.
And closely related to that is wow.
Oh, wow is dangerous. Dangerous. How is wow dangerous? It means I'm impressed, right?
Only if you actually mean it. The source warns about the flat tone. If you say wow with a flat monotone voice, it sounds incredibly sarcastic.
Like, wow, that is so interesting.
Ouch. Yeah, that hurts. That means please stop talking immediately. You have to commit to the emotion. Wow.
Okay, so pitch really matters. Now, I want to ask about a specific phrase the source mentioned for agreement. We know right and exactly, but what about the phrase fair enough?
Oh, I love fair enough. This is such a power move for conflict resolution.
It sounds kind of dismissive to me, actually.
It can be, but it's mostly used to end a debate without either person losing face. Fair enough does not necessarily mean I agree with you.
Oh.
It means I accept your point as valid.
That is a crucial distinction.
Yes. Let's say we're arguing about where to get lunch. I want sushi, you want tacos. You say, look, I had sushi yesterday. I can say, fair enough.
Meaning, I still want sushi, but your argument against it is reasonable, so I yield.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It validates the other person's logic without necessarily conceding that they are right in the grand scheme of things. It's a polite way to say, okay, point taken, let's move on.
Fair enough. I'm definitely using that. It makes you sound very reasonable and level-headed. Now, let's shift gears to part 4. The vocabulary of casualness.
Yeah.
This is all about swapping out those stiff textbook words for the words people actually use on the street.
This is about register. Textbooks teach a neutral or formal register. We want the casual register. We want to stop sounding like a butler.
A butler. Certainly, sir, I shall definitely attend the gathering this evening.
Exactly. If I ask, hey, are you coming to the party? And you say, certainly. It's weird. It creates this hierarchy. You sound like you're serving me.
Right.
The casual swap is...
For sure. It conveys the same 100% certainty, but it strips away all the formality. We're peers.
Are you coming? For sure. Simple, direct, equal.
And what about the word pretty? Not like beautiful pretty, but the other one.
The intensifier. This is ubiquitous in American English. Pretty good, pretty tired, pretty weird.
It's confusing, though. Does pretty good mean very good, or does it mean just okay?
It functions like quite or fairly. It usually softens the statement slightly or just adds a bit of conversational texture. If you say, the movie was good, it's a bold fact.
Right.
If you say, it was pretty good, it feels more like a personal opinion. It invites discussion.
Speaking of softening, let's talk about hedges. The source mentions kind of and sort of, or as we usually say, kinda and sorta.
These are social lubricants. We use them to make our statements less aggressive.
Because if I say, that shirt is ugly, I'm basically starting a fight.
Right. That is an objective declaration of war. But if you say, it's kinda ugly, you're softening the blow. You're hedging. You're leaving room for the other person to disagree. It makes you seem less arrogant.
So we use these not because we are unsure of our opinion, but because we are being polite.
Exactly. It's all about social safety.
Okay, tip number 19 involves the reset button. The word, anyway.
Anyway, is the conversation rescue tool. We've all been there. You go down some weird rabbit hole, or you tell a joke that completely lands flat, or things just get awkward.
Or you start ranting about the robot paradox and completely forget what the actual topic of our deep dive is.
You hit the button anyway. It signals, okay, delete the last 5 minutes, let's get back in the main track. It is maybe the most useful transition word in the entire language.
And finally, for vocabulary, the modern, you're welcome. The source suggests using no worries or no problem.
There is a massive generational and cultural shift happening here. Older generations tend to prefer you're welcome.
Right.
Younger generations, millennials, Gen Z, almost exclusively use no worries.
Why is that? You're welcome seems so polite on the surface.
Some linguists argue that you're welcome can sound a little transactional. It's like, I did a favor, and now you are acknowledging it. You owe me.
Oh, wow. I have never thought of it that way.
Whereas no worries or no problem implies that the favor was completely effortless. It cost me nothing to help you, so don't even worry about it.
Yeah.
It creates a sense of equality and ease. It says, we're cool, don't sweat it.
I feel like no worries is the motto of this entire episode. Just chill out.
Ideally, yes.
Okay, we are into the home stretch, part 5. You usually call this section the secret sauce. We're talking about the music of English, rhythm and intonation.
This is the hardest part to teach from a text, but it is absolutely the most critical for moving from understandable to native-like. You can get all the vocabulary right, you can use gonna and wanna, but if your music is wrong, you will still trigger the robot paradox.
Because English has a specific beat, right? It's not flat.
Exactly. English is what's known as a stress-timed language. Imagine Morse code, dots and dashes, short sounds and long sounds. We do not give every single word equal time.
This is the heartbeat of this sentence.
Right. Content words, so nouns, verbs, adjectives, they carry the actual meaning. They get the spotlight. They are louder, longer, and higher in pitch. Function words like is, to, the of OO, just the grammatical glue. They get reduced to almost nothing.
So let's go back to that sentence. I am going to the store.
If you're a robot, you say, I am, go, I-N-E, to the store. Every syllable gets the same beat. It's monotonous and, frankly, exhausting to listen to.
But a native speaker.
A native speaker finds the important words, go and store. Everything else gets crushed. I'm going to the store. It becomes da-da-da-da-da-da.
It's bouncy.
It has to be. If you stress the small words, I'm going to the store, you sound aggressive or confused. You have to learn to swallow the small words so the big words can shine through.
And that leads right into intonation, the melody.
The basic rule is simple, but the social stakes are high. Yes/no questions rise at the end. Are you coming? Statements fall. You are coming.
But what happens if I mess this up? What if I use a rising intonation on a statement?
That is the dreaded uptalk. You hear it a lot. Hi, my name is John. I a doctor.
It sounds like you're asking for permission to exist.
Exactly. It projects insecurity. If you want to sound confident and effortless, you need to master that falling intonation. You need to land the plane at the end of the sentence. I'm John. I'm a doctor.
Land the plane. I like that. Don't leave it hovering in the air.
Then we have the chain link, or what's called connected speech.
This goes back to the gonna thing, right? We don't like gaps between our words.
No. Native speakers hate silence between words. If one word ends in a consonant and the next one begins with a vowel, they stick together like magnets. Pick up becomes pick up.
Right.
And apple becomes an apple.
An apple. It sounds like it's one word.
Acoustically, it is. If you separate them, pick up and apple. It requires way too much energy, and it sounds choppy. Linking is the grease in the engine. It makes the speech just slide out.
And finally, tip number 25, the emotional layer.
This is the final coat of paint. You just have to avoid the monotone. Native speakers use a very wide vocal range to convey excitement or boredom or empathy or sarcasm.
We're loud and quiet, high and low, all in one sentence sometimes.
And if you stay in one narrow pitch range, you come across as bored or, well, robotic. You have to be willing to perform the language a little bit, mimic the music you hear. If you're excited, let your voice go up. If you're serious, drop it down. Don't be afraid to be expressive.
Wow. Okay. We have just sprinted through 25 tips. Mechanics, fillers, reactions, vocabulary, music. That is a massive toolkit.
It is.
But here's the problem. If I walk into my next conversation trying to do all 25 of these things at once, my brain is going to literally explode. I'm going to be thinking about chunking and linking and hedging, and I'll completely forget to say my own name.
That is the overwhelm danger, and the source explicitly warns against this. You cannot overhaul your entire speaking style overnight. You will paralyze yourself.
So what's the strategy? How do we actually use this without short-circuiting our brains?
The 3 to 5 rule. You pick 3 to 5 tips, just
Yeah.
that. And maybe this week, you focus only on using contractions, saying dunno and using uh-huh when you listen.
That's it.
Ignore the intonation, ignore the register. Just nail those 3 things.
Okay, that feels manageable. Week 1, be lazy with my verbs and make noises while I'm listening.
Exactly. Once those become automatic, once you don't even have to think about them, then you pick 3 more. Maybe next week you work on gonna wanna and using fair enough. You stack them slowly.
And there's a practical exercise suggested too, the 7-day challenge.
This one is for the brave. You record yourself having a conversation, and it could be with a friend or honestly just talking to yourself in the car. Then, and I know this is painful, you have to play it back.
Oh God, nobody likes the sound of their own voice.
Nobody does. But you have to do it.
Yeah.
And you listen specifically for these effortless habits. Count them. Oh, I used gonna there. Good.
Ooh, I said I do not know. Bad.
You need to build awareness of your own robot tendencies.
It's like an athlete watching game tape. You have to see the mistake to be able to fix it.
Exactly that.
So let's synthesize all of this. We started with the robot paradox, the idea that being correct can somehow make you sound wrong.
And we learned that sounding effortless isn't about having a massive vocabulary or perfect grammar scores. It's about rhythm, connection, and a relaxed delivery. It's about removing the barriers between your brain and your mouth, and between you and the listener.
The difference between I am going to the store and I'm gonna go to the store isn't just grammar, it's humanity. One sounds like a stranger and the other sounds like a friend.
And that really is the goal. Language is social. It's supposed to be about connection, not perfection.
I want to leave you with a thought today. We spend so much time in education trying to be perfect. We scrub out the ums, we correct the slang, we enunciate every single letter. But if language is meant to connect us, perhaps those so-called imperfections, the slurred words, the filler sounds, the kinda and sorta, are actually the most human part of communication. Maybe we shouldn't be trying to remove them. Maybe we should be embracing them.
That is a beautiful thought. The messy parts are the human parts.
Well, this was a pretty fun,
It was, for sure.
I'm gonna go now. See ya. See ya.